It's the latter half of 1959 and we all know what that means, ever-increasing railway traffic. More ships and passengers are coming to the island of Sodor and the Fat Controller's grand mainline fleet of 3 tender engines is beginning to feel the strain. Thankfully, the Fat Controller has ordered a brand new goods engine from Scotland. However, it appears that instead of the 1 engine he ordered, 2 came instead, called Donald and Douglas. Instead of relishing in his unexpected bargain, the Fat Controller decides to find out which one has chosen to come and which one he bought. In the meantime, however, he has numbers painted on them, Donald 9 and Douglas 10, and the inspector sends them off to work with Doug. No, not that sort of Doug, the Great Western engine, obviously! Donald and Douglas work well with Duck with little trouble as the Trucks, the Gordon and the Henry soon find that they won't get very far if they try tricking the Scottish twins. However, this is a book set on the island of Sodor, and little trouble always turns into a lot of trouble here. You see, for this story only, and never any other time, Gordon brings in a special coach for passengers wanting to see Thomas's branch line. Anyway, on this particular day, Douglas offered to shunt the coaches away, but after being distracted by the fear of being found out as the engine who chose to come to Sodor, he accidentally shunts Thomas's special coach away with the others. Naturally, Thomas comes fussing, and as they don't particularly like being left in the carriage sidings, a mob of angry passengers comes fussing too. To escape the Fat Controller's wrath, or worse, Scotland, Douglas's driver quickly decides that the twins should swap tenders. So Donald leaves with Douglas's tender and Douglas stays behind with Donald's tender behind him but uncoupled. In front of the passengers, this plan seems to work, but once they go back to the station, the Fat Controller reveals he knew all along they had swapped tenders. Quite naturally, the Fat Controller scolds the twins for trying to trick him. Donald and Douglas decide that at this point it would be better to keep a low profile and stay on their best behaviour. While on their best behaviour, Donald reverses into a signal box, dropping him out of the Fat Controller's good graces, and Douglas destroys a brake van, which also drops him out of the Fat Controller's good graces. This series of events has left the Fat Controller with a difficult decision to make, one which will take him off of the island of Sodor. Anyway, during the Fat Controller's time away, snow comes earlier than expected and is nightmarish for the engines. Donald and Douglas, however, are used to it and make quick work of clearing the lines. This is until they come across a drift that looks suspiciously like Henry. Once it turns out to be Henry, the twins are quick to rescue him and take him back to the shed. Henry is grateful for the rescue, and he and the other engines decide that something must be done for Donald and Douglas. Percy decides to ask Edward for advice. Edward very wisely suggests that they simply speak to the Fat Controller. The other engines think this is a spectacular idea, and after much careful deliberation on deputations, disputations, desperations, and depot stations, it was decided that Percy is going to present their case to the Fat Controller, after all.
It's easy.
Once the Fat Controller returns, Percy gives his deputation to him, though not without sending some trucks flying and saying the word sir so many times that it stopped sounding like a word. Of course, Percy never needed to do any of this, as the Fat Controller had been in Scotland buying Douglas. This meant that the twins could safely call Sodor home, though their names were painted on them, so they couldn't play any more tricks. And they didn't. Douglas managed to give another escapee engine the second chance he was so lucky to receive, and Donald adopted a duck. No, not that one, the bird. Obviously.